Okay, slightly unusual one today. I am outside. Why? The garage was way too warm, and I still wanted to do stuff. So I have set some stuff up outside, because I want to try and get a cast out of this that I can use to basically clear it up. Because at the minute, there's still clay that's left in there. So I have sprayed this liberally with Mac Wax, which is still attached to a board from when I used it for the duct tape dummy. So that's fine. It still functions, who cares? And then I'm gonna try and use some fast car just to attempt to clear some of that out. Now, I've not used any of this in a very long time, so I sure hope that it functions properly. But, yeah, one is considerably easier to mix than the other. From memory, it is a 1-to-1 ratio for this stuff, and there's this one, which is a liquid, basically. That's super easy to mix. But its companion is this one, and as you can probably tell by the sediment on the bottom, this is considerably harder to mix. So I'm going to attempt to do that, but it may be interesting. That's kind of doing it. Might just take me a while, so bear with. It's getting there. God, it's such a mess. As I say, I've not used any of this for a long time, so I sure hope it all mixes okay. Because if it doesn't, this could wind up being a little interesting. It is getting better. I may just be here for a while. Oh well, it's fine. It's whatever. I just want to get a quick cast out of this, just to clear it up, before I attempt to fiberglass anything. So what I think I'll end up doing is giving this a crack, just slush casting it. Which if you've never done that before, I can show you what it is. And then I will probably work on something slightly different whilst this is doing its thing. We'll see where that goes. It's considerably better than it was. Still not ideal. But I'm not sure whether I will be able to make it ideal anyway, to be honest. So I'm kind of thinking white blanket. White blanket, see what happens. That's definitely worked out before. Right. Now I'm going to have to try and be reasonably careful with this. Because I'm not in sleeves, because it is too warm. And that puts me on edge. Good reason. Chemical safety matters. Making sure nothing's leaking from anywhere. Don't believe it is. Right. Forgot how runny all of this was. Where is... there it is. The bag from whence you came. Unless I can mop it up first. I can probably mop some of this up first. Yeah, that seems fine. If nothing else, it's better than it was. Right. And because I'm next to the kitchen, I'm next to the bin. Alright. I'm going to keep that in its bag. Feel better about it that way. Right, so you are 112. If I can attempt to do similar, that would be ideal. This is way easier to mix. That's about right. About right. Definitely need to keep a cloth or something nearby. Because I'm going to get through so much kitchen towel. I'll keep using that. Gotta be something somewhere. Can't see anything, so now I guess it remains kitchen towel. Just to try and mop up the worst of it. In my defense, it was all going pretty well. So I splashed it. Which again is why I was nervous about the whole sleeve situation. You know, do as I say, not as I do. Yada yada. That old chestnut. Right. Have a cup of stuff. Whether or not it works as I need it to remains to be seen. Who knows? Maybe it'll be fine. Just gonna spend a while mixing it. Very liquidy, very splishy splashy, very toasty. So that to me is a good sign. I'm gonna wait until it's really quite stiff. Otherwise, I'm gonna be giving myself a horrible time. I'm probably just gonna pour it a bit at a time. Just being as careful as humanly possible because I am paranoid. Don't want to get stuff on my skin. Thank you very much. I'd rather this took me ages and I was sensible. That is my preferred. That is real toasty. Okay. I'm just gonna leave that to figure itself out for a second. And that hopefully should be more than enough just to contend with the bulk of this. Slightly thicker than it once was. What would have been real smart is if I'd put some sort of plastic sheet down beforehand. I debated it, but then thought I might end up making more of a mess, really. So, you know, changed my mind. What's new? Okay, that is real spicy. Okay. Spicy means progress. That's how this works. I want to get, okay. It doesn't really matter how this turns out, but also, if I'm going to do it, I kind of want it to be worth my time. Ooh, okay, that's definitely stiffer. Good grief. Alright, that is some pretty substantial difference there. You can see. It's, yeah, fast cast, that's it. Suddenly starts going off. So, I'm going to dump a whole bunch in here. Yep, it suddenly goes. That's it. That's the one. Alright, my bad. I forgot. Fair enough. Oh, I'm a fool. I forgot that's how Fastcast works. Alright, well. it's actually solid. Alright. We'll, Oh, I'm an imbecile. I completely forgot that was the whole point of Fastcast. Right. Well, I am going to go ahead and get rid of this chunk of stuff from out of this cup and try that again. I'll go whack this in my chemical waste. Because, you know, obvious reasons. Oh, I'm so dense. I completely forgot that was how that worked. Alright. At least I remember now. So, I'm inclined to just, you know... Oh, that's kind of cool though. So, it works. Unfortunately, I'm just stupid. But now I remember. So I can try that again. I'm going to respray this though. Just for good measure. Then, take two, I suppose. hopefully, this time, I can not be an idiot. I'll just mix it and pour it more or less straight away. Around 114. Duly noted. Kinda want a double glove here. Let me double glove this. I always feel safer double gloved. Yeah, it suddenly just goes. Goes from 0 to 100. That's 114. This I'll attempt to do similar. Slightly over. Oh well. It is at least sort of similar. Whatever. Right. Mixing stick. I'll mix it around. And then this time, I will not be stupid. Or I will at least attempt to not be stupid. But at the minute, it's kind of like water. Ooh. But there comes a point where it gets real spicy, and then it just goes. So I'm going to keep mixing it for a little bit. Then this time, when I feel it gets spicy, I'm just going to commit. You spicy yet? Not quite, but you're thinking about it. I think it's getting to the point that I need to be sensible, so I'm going to yeet a bunch in there. Bunch more. Basically, trying to not do what I just did. Get it everywhere. But that's fine. I already knew that was going to happen. That's the trouble with the walls of the mold being at weird angles. So I'm learning the limitations. I'm learning it the hard way, but I'm learning. It's starting to do a thing. Main concern I have is the very edges, that's the thing. And this is not an unreasonable amount of stuff, so I'm just going to continue to faff with it. It starts to get stiffer and stiffer. Yeah, it's starting to do the thing. You can see the difference in the viscosity. I just probably need about half as much stuff as I was using, so that's on me. But, you know, I'm sure that's fine. Then it's a case of trying to take care of the edges. Because the middle typically takes care of itself. Typically. Well, you can reach that corner. Yeah, and then it just suddenly goes past that point. Not an awful lot you can do. I will eventually sort out that puzzle. Anything left in here? Nothing usable, I don't think. That is just a solid puddle of poop. But at least I can fish it out and use the same cup again. If this was something I was precious about, I wouldn't keep using the same cup. But as it happens, not too fast. This will cure and I can just pick it off. So, again, not super fast. But I am relearning how all of this works. How... Okay, it's almost at a scrapable point. Certainly thinking about it. Once I can fish it off, it'll be fine. Then I only really want to do a tiny bit of half of what I was doing before, just to, again, contend with the edges of stuff. It's getting there. The thing is, if I leave it too long and it becomes too solid, I will never get it off. The whole time it's kind of sludgy-ish. I can get in and under it and just kind of lift it off, so it's whatever. Okay, I can just grab it from here. Nice. Ugh, such weird stuff. Right, cool. I am relearning how to do this, which is why most people would say, always practice on a little bit first. Patient. I'd rather learn the hard way, you know? In fairness, with this, like, it's currently still inconsequential. No. Objectively, this kind of is the test. Right, where's my chem waste? It's in the garage. So I will whack it in there. A solid lump of resin. Okay. Let's try to learn from my mistakes. And mix up about half of what I was doing. Because there is no need for more than that. Not even... Wait. Roughly that. What does that give me? 55. Good guess. Try and do the same with this. Trouble with these is they aren't really built for pouring nicely. That's enough. It's one of those, you can't really pour them slowly because they get everywhere. Why does my Fitbit think I'm exercising? Oh, not. Oh well. Sure, that's fine. Alright. I'm not sure whether this is going to go off quicker or slower. Because it's only a little bit. I just want to focus it on the very edges, really. So I'll swish it till it's warm, and then I'll just pour it and see what happens. Where do I want to put it? Up in here and along this edge, because this top edge is pretty okay. So that's fine. And I'll just see what it ends up looking like. Because at least then I can test it for size as well. You can see whether it's going to end up too big, too small, yada yada. Do I need to change anything? Feeling a little toasty, so... Ah. I don't know why I thought mixing it in the same cup was going to be sensible. Oh, there you go. Right, that is definitely toasty, so... Oh, I'm gonna make a mess again. Yep. I'm definitely gonna make a mess again. But I need to deal with that edge. The important bit. Of course the sun would come round now. I've literally got an umbrella set up and everything, and it's still finding a way to annoy me. Fine. At least I'm managing to do the thing. Okay, it's going off now. Fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. Just as long as I can deal with that edge. That's the main thing. I don't know why I thought moving it was going to be a good idea. Can I cheese that at all? Yeah, just about. At some point I'll learn. Really, I could have done with half again of what I ended up using. I've got another big old chunk of muck that is of no use to me in the bottom of this cup. So, suboptimal, I would say. I've still got a bit missing up here. Okay. I'm going to do a tiny bit just to fill in one edge. It was roughly the same sort of time to go off as it was for the bigger amount. So, I'm inclined to say that's probably going to be a running theme. That's already solid. Jeez. Cool. Okay. At least this is just so I have a frame of reference. It's not actually going to matter. So I'm not crazy pressed about it. So let me do a tiny bit. Yeah, roughly half of what I did last time. As I pretend to be learning my lesson. Mark away in my hands. Oh well. Right. This is an obscenely tiny amount. So tiny, I can kind of mix it without a stick, just by sort of swishing it around. Gee, the sun is really annoying. I have to change how I do things after this. Typical. I get everything set up out here to avoid the sun. And yet, somehow, here we are. Warm yet? I'm gonna say I play it safe anyway. It needs to be down here. I'm just gonna pour the whole thing. And attempt to contend with that edge up there. I can get some carefully down here along this edge too. That would be nice. It's mainly this edge up here, this little corner, that I'm most concerned over. But also this little bit. So, you know. Okay, starting to think about stuff. A little bit along that edge. But primarily up in this corner. I'm just gonna sit in this corner through doing anything else. Just this edge. Specifically this edge. Right. Now I'm just going to leave it alone. Can I fish this off of here? Yeah, kinda. I kinda can. Oh, that's way easier. Okay. Yeah. There's still a little bit of kind of gel in here, so I'm inclined to say I could actually get away with whacking that one here, which is nice. I thought that would have gone rock solid by now, but it hasn't. Very handy. Accidentally useful. Certainly not going to sniff at it. The rest of it is too solid. That's a shame. But that little bit was useful. So I've got no problem with that, to be honest. So this is way more than I'd intended to use. But, you know, it is what it is. Now I know you do tiny bits and try not to be an idiot about it. Fine. Fine. Enough. Right. At this point, I'm inclined to get rid of this cup because it's just a mess. Such a mess. Right. Let me go chuck this cup. Try and pick off a bunch of this. At least it's really easy to get off once it's due. Just chisel it. Try and clear off as much of it as I can. Go whack it in the bin. Maybe I'll keep it here as my waste cup for now. I don't know. Get a bunch of here as well. Yeah, I can peel a bunch of this off. Get in the cup. I wonder if I can get any more of this off without damaging what I've got in there. Get some of this off. That's fine. Fine. I'm just relearning literally everything. That's whatever. I'm not sure how long I need to leave all of this sat here before I can just go, you know what? Screw it. Maybe if I leave it like half hour, play it safe. Pretty sure it'll be fine after that. How does it look? Oh, it's pretty solid already. Like it's definitely not going anywhere. But I'm gonna leave it for a bit regardless. So while I'm doing that, what I will probably do is move everything back into the garage again, because the sun hates me. For all the effort I put in to having everything migrated out here to enjoy the breeze, there was no point. Because like half an hour in, 40 odd minutes. Good for me, for a whole 40 minutes. For all the effort I put in, I was banned anyway. So I'm going to chuck this cup, and I'm going to chuck these gloves, and then I'm probably going to make this my shortest stream ever as I relocate literally everything back into the garage again. That is what it is. Wonder. That's pretty solid already. It's still very warm. So I think I'll leave this out here in the sun. See if that helps it do its thing any quicker. I'm going to move a bunch of this stuff back into the garage. Unfortunately, I could just leave it on the BRB screen while I did this. But as soon as I unplug that laptop, everything goes dark. So I actually can't just leave it as BRB. Otherwise I would. But yeah, everything and migrate the whole lot. It's only slightly irritating. But there you go. I will say though, it's much cooler in here now in the garage, so. But it's nice to know that I can set things up like this. It's not a bad way of conducting myself. I'm just wondering whether I can be cheeky with it and do it early. Debating it. I'm debating being impatient, so I at least have a thing to show for the shortest stream ever. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. Okay, well, it was definitely a spam call. But, just the least amount of effort anyone has ever put into a spam call. Hello, I'm calling about your housing problem. There is no housing problem. No mold or damp. No. Okay, bye. That was it. That was the full extent. Right. Let's see. What was I thinking of doing? I'm still debating whether I just, you know, go ahead and demold this thing. I might. I just might. Why has my Twitch app broken? That is unnecessary. Oh, okay, my phone's crashed. Cool. Well, I will try to contend with this, I guess. I think I can get away with demolding this. Screw it, I probably can. Let's see. Yeah, I think I can do this. Let me do this, and then once dealt with that, I can go hide in the garage. Right. So, fiberglass jacket. Seems fine. This is the silicone bit, which would be all floppy if it weren't for the fiberglass. Still feels kind of toasty in places. But, given this is just a test piece, I think I shall demold it anyway. Oh yeah, that's easy. That is so easy. Nice. Okay, you know what? I'm actually not super mad at that. And the nice thing with Fastcast is it's super paintable. I'm inclined to keep this and have a little play about with it. That's pretty cool. Very quick as well, and it's quite light. Lighter than I thought it would be. So, it's got me thinking. Got me thinking all kinds of ways. We'll see. We'll see. But, shows you the purpose of all the different components of these molds. Because this would not have held its shape without this. But it would not have had the detail without this. And then this will just slot neatly back from whence it came. Like that. Pretty self-contained. Yeah, job. I have an actual cast of a thing. Pretty nifty. Just have to see how it holds up in relation to me. Actually, you know what? That seems pretty good. Holding it against myself, looking in the mirror, that looks alright. So I'm inclined to say that was a successful experiment. Even with all the fat and the unrelenting force of the sun, which continues to upset me. But there you go. Yeah, not a bad other things. Cool. Alright, well, I will pause things for now, move back into the garage, and catch you guys in a minute.